for national security. Brannon brings the issues of the day into clear focus through the lens of a Judeo-Christian worldview. And now, here is your host, Brannon Howse.
And welcome to the broadcast on this, can you believe it, folks, October 6, 2025. I just was writing down that I got Trevor Loudon booked for tomorrow night and Mark Mitchell of Rasmussen. Hey, we are back. Of course, we had our national conference that started on Thursday night, but I was off Wednesday to get ready for Thursday and to let my voice rest because Wednesday night I had a dress rehearsal and I had my grand piano player and the grand piano, obviously, and I had an acoustical or classical guitar player, Bruce Carroll, who won, 2 Grammys and 7 Dove Awards. Amazing acoustical guitar player. And so I sang some wonderful classical sacred hymns, and we filmed it all in front of the live audience, the banquet concert, and we're going to make it available for you very soon. All of you can watch it. We're starting a 24-hour-a-day hymn channel. I've done so many concerts now and so many hymns with our team that we're going to turn it into a 24-hour-a-day hymn channel. So if you love the hymns and want a little something to relax to and unwind to before you go to bed, or to start off your morning with a cup of coffee before you get into the craziness of the world, or you need something to down gear your brain at night and just get into a peaceful mindset before you try to go to sleep, or maybe you can't sleep, then you could turn on these hymns, which will have beautiful nature, scenery, and everything. So it's a ministry project of our foundation, worldviewfoundation.com. So I had to get ready for that. Rest my voice. Wednesday night was the dress rehearsal at the venue. And then Thursday, we had to get ready. And Thursday night was the concert and banquet. And then the keynote address by Hadia. And what a time we had. And then Friday, we had to get ready and set up at the venue for the conference. I had to pick up at the airport Sidney Powell. And others got cars, but I personally picked up Sydney. And we had a great event Friday night and then Saturday. And the speakers came over to my house on Saturday for lunch and Saturday for lunch and Saturday night for dinner. So Miss Melissa was very busy and did a marvelous job as always. And then Sunday, I got back into it to look at what was going on in the news. I didn't have time to do a lot with the news. And man, a lot happened while I was gone. And we're going to get into it tonight because it seems as though many in government, those who are mayors, governors, elected officials at all levels, including people running for office, even the guy running for attorney general in Virginia, the mayor of Chicago, it seems as though many of these guys have lost their marbles and they are absolutely agitating for a conflict, maybe even a civil war, while they claim it's the right that wants to revive and do a redo of the Civil War. That's what you call psychological projection, putting onto your enemies what you're really doing. So we're going to get into a lot tonight. And because we seem to have enemies, foreign and domestic, that are working together. Some of them are foreign enemies that apparently are in the U.S., following ICE around, ramming their cars and giving them real grief. And then when they need backup, Chicago police don't want to respond. Folks, what is going on? And the Democrats in Virginia, instead of saying to the guy running for attorney general who's making these threats, these violent threats or comments about murdering Republicans and their children, et cetera, according to numerous reports and news reports I'll show you tonight, instead of kicking this guy to the curb, apparently the Democrats in Virginia are doubling down. So again, it seems as though the left wants a civil war. But the question is this really also being orchestrated by America's enemies? How much is China involved in this? The IRGC, Gulf states, Qatar, agitating for civil war and conflict in the United States. At the same time, we're moving toward more conflict with Russia and World War III, not to mention another hit likely of Iran by Israel and the U.S. So much going on. Anni Cyrus is going to join us. We have a lot of video clips to play. And then we're going to be joined by Michael Weiner because we have gold once again hitting another record, almost at $3,900 an ounce. Silver well over $48 an ounce. What is going on? We'll get an update. Well, I think we know. It's the debasement of the U.S. dollar. We'll get an update from Michael Weiner, who is with us this weekend. Annie has a brand new article out, the $230 million gift to Hezbollah. wrapped in the American flag. This is about Lebanon. This is a very, very much an underreported story, which is not uncommon for us to actually be the ones that first report stories here with our great crack team that we have. So we'll do all that tonight and more. All right. Hey, we don't have time tonight because we are just getting resettled in after a big weekend. But I think by tomorrow night, we ought to be able to bring you a few clips of some of the presentations from the weekend. Don't you think, Logan? Now, we're not going to bring you the full presentations because you have to be a Vault member. It cost a lot of money to put this conference on. So we have to raise the revenue somehow, folks. So we really need you to be a Vault member. And you can do that, by the way, at worldviewtube.com/vault. A lot of the presentations are there. More to go up and get loaded up in there tonight and tomorrow. So within the next 24 hours or so, they should all be there. Is that a fair statement, Logan? He says yes. worldviewtube.com/vault. Hope you'll join. worldviewtube.com/vault. But we had a great weekend. But by tomorrow night, I should be able to bring you a few clips of some of what the speakers had to say. Maybe to entice you to join the Vault and see it all, but also just to spread the word about the great presentations that were presented this weekend at the 22nd Annual World View Weekend. Now, we already have the date for next year. I'm going to go ahead and mention it again. For next October, right now we have a contract for the Waukesha Expo Center. The Waukesha Expo Center. October, go ahead and write it down, October 23 and 24. That's a Friday night and a Saturday. We'll probably do a banquet thing on Thursday night, the 22nd. But the 23rd and the 24th, the Friday night, the 23rd, Saturday, the 24th of October next year, 2026, Lord willing. And guess what we're going to do that year? We're going to make it free. For 22 years, we have charged an admission. But I decided after the assassination of Charlie Kirk that we have so many young people wanting to hear truth and know truth, so many other people wanting to hear and know truth, that maybe we should not put up any barriers. Maybe we should just go out and raise the money, and our foundation will be a major sponsor. So after 22 years of making it free, after 22 years of charging, we're going to make it free. So after 22 years of charging an admission to our national conference, we're going to make it free in 2026. Now, you will have to be a member of the Vault to stream it. You say, well, why? Because those who attend are making an effort. They have to travel there. They have to get a hotel. So they have to spend money to be there. And you don't really value something unless you have some investment in it, okay? So I know there'll be some people that come from right there in town. They don't have a lot invested, but they aren't watching it from their living room. They're actually getting dressed and coming in. But the other reason is there's a lot of money involved in producing these things, and the bandwidth bill is ridiculously high. So we will have to charge for folks to be members of the Vault to stream it. But those who want to attend it in person, we will make it free next year, October 23. That's a Friday night, and Saturday the 24th. And we'll let you know when you can register. You will have to have a ticket and you'll have to register. And we'll let you know about that real soon. Let's see here. I want you to go over, if you would, to worldviewtube. But I want you to mark your calendar now, folks. worldviewtube.com/sponsors. worldviewtube.com/sponsors. Before we get started tonight, remember, we're brought to you by you. I had a family member tell me today that one of my family members has started taking Bella Grace, and they're a senior citizen, and they're having hair growth. Wow, look at that. I'm not shocked because look at that, right? Look at that. Go to that shot from behind me, Logan. My thinning spot here has really, really covered up. Hasn't it, Logan? It has, he said. Of course it has. And there's the proof. Normally, I would not allow that shot, but I have nothing to be ashamed of, thanks to Bella Grace. That is when the hair growth really started. And I found out that someone in my family who's a senior citizen started taking it as well and is now having amazing hair growth. So not only that, my hands are not cracking and bleeding like they've done for years. I don't have to take a Pepcid every night like I have done for years. My acid reflux is gone. So I have lots of things to say about Bella Grace, as you well know. And a lot of you are taking it now. We get such amazing feedback. People saying, I don't know what I'll do if I can't ever get a hold of this. Well, let's pray that never happens. So go there, melissahousebg.com, melissahousebg.com. Now, when you go to melissahousebg.com, one of the things you're going to find is the new Bella Melt, brand new Bella Melt. Scroll down the page. There's the elixir, which, by the way, has 80 clinical trials. And then you find the Bella Melt. This is with the GLP-1. That is a naturally occurring item in your body, but you want more of it because it will help you to feel full, curb your appetite, and apparently there's some great heart health benefits as well. Melissa, on the first week that she was on it, lost 4 pounds in the first week. And some of you are losing, maybe it was 3 pounds in the first week. The average is 4 pounds. Some are losing more than that. And so if you're looking for this, and by the way, this has gone nuts. The number of people ordering the Bella Melt, it has shocked the company. It has shocked us. So please check it out. Tell your family and friends about these great products at melissahousebg.com. It's a great way to help us. This is one of our biggest sponsors. Now, we don't promote people unless we believe in the product. We have to believe in it. We have to use it in most cases. And I don't know of a product that I'm not using. I use the Bella Grace. I use the Numi. I use the Galatana. I use the water filter. I have my satellite phone. By the way, Tina was with us this weekend along with Dr. Bashima. So again, these are products we have to believe in before we offer them to our audience, because my reputation and credibility is more important than pushing a product. So we like to push products that we use, that we believe in, and we get results from. And that's the case with this. melissahousebg.com, melissahousebg.com. And with every purchase, we are getting paid. But you don't want to use these products, then I think you're not only missing out, but you're not supporting us. But with each product, I think you are supporting your health and us when you use their product. Okay? So please consider doing so. Check it out. melissahousebg.com. Let's go back there real quick to where we're at. And let's take a look at one of the other ones that I take each and every day. And that is Galatana. This is a phytoplankton. 1 scoop's the equivalent of 90 billion plant cells. I take 1 scoop with water every morning or in the afternoon, depending on when I choose to take it. But Dolly gets half a scoop on her food every morning. She gets a half a scoop on her food every morning. They have a pet product. It's a little bit cheaper than the human product. So you might want to do that for your pets as well. Again, remember the guy that developed it? They gave him a terminal diagnosis. You only got a little bit of time. And he started eating the phytoplankton he was raising for his shellfish. His daughter's like, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" And he's like, "What do I got to lose?" Turned out his pain went away. He started losing weight. His diabetes got greatly improved. Went in for 11 biopsies, came back benign, lived another 10 years. Retired to Hawaii, we're told. And we've played his video talking about it, him and his daughter. So again, this has 5 clinical trials behind it. And it goes down to the cellular level and feeds your mitochondria to boost your immune system so your immune system can do what it's meant to do as it was created by God, to fight off disease and other things. So feed your immune system, boost your immune system. And this is 2 of the 3 things I do. The third thing I do is glutathione. This is swishforlife.com. Glutathione. This has over 100,000 studies at PubMed. You swish with it for about 3 minutes. I was doing this a lot last week, trying to stay healthy for the conference. But I take this a couple times a day. Last week, I was doing it 5 or 6 times a day, if not more. But it gets glutathione in your body within 90 seconds. That's an all natural occurring molecule in your body that starts to decrease around the age 20. But this is the most substantive way to get it into your body. Now, you can do a $250 IV, but studies show it's broken down. The purest way to get it into your system is swishing it for about 3 minutes, then spit it out or swallow it. And it's said to get into your system in its totality. And by the way, some studies have shown that glutathione may remove mercury from your brain, helping prevent Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's. By the way, I have a family member, a senior citizen family member, started taking this and thinks that their cognitive ability and sharpness has improved. Okay? So this is not a joke. None of these products are a joke, folks. They have clinical trials behind them. They're based on science. We love them. Okay, so check it out. You know about Worldview Talk. Again, I told you about the satellite phone. You can get your satellite phone. The minutes, they rack up so that you don't have to worry about, well, I've ran out of minutes. No. So if you're not using it for a month or two, you go on a trip, you don't have good cell coverage, you're not going to have to worry about chewing all your minutes up because you've been saving them. If cell towers go down, something happens, you're going to get through. All right. Also, they have solar generators at Worldview Talk. They have the bulletproof backpacks. They have the beanies, the knockdown EMF. You can get a Starlink, and it's greatly a free Starlink when you sign up for one of their very reasonable monthly plans. Worldviewtalk.com. Check out all of the other sponsors there if you would on our website, worldviewtube.com/sponsors. You can also call them at 1-866-7, what is it? 1-866-738-3224, 1-866-738-3224. But check out all of these sponsors here if you would. That make our broadcast, pushing it out for free, possible. Very important that you do this. And again, why not go ahead and join the vault tonight, folks? So when we get off the air, you can go and start watching some of the presentations from this weekend. And many people said, I'm going to go watch them again. They were so good, I want to go watch them again. We had a lot of people said this was the best Worldview weekend we've ever attended. Well, they say that a lot of them every year because it's the freshest one they've been to, but I could see why they would say that this year. We had an amazing collection. Gordon Chang and Adia and Sidney Powell and just so many great speakers. Mark Mitchell. I mean, I all of them. And so if you didn't get a chance to attend, you can watch them, but you have to be a Vault member, worldviewtube.com/vault. So thank you for your support and being a member. Joining me now is Anni Cyrus. Anni was just with us at our 22nd annual Worldview Weekend. And what a weekend it was, as I was just telling you about it. Anni, we've got a lot to cover tonight. So much to cover. Let's get to it. But first, what did you make of this weekend's conference here in Collierville, Tennessee?
I actually shared some points with my audience today on my show. And I need to say what I said there. Thank you, Brannon. The commitment you have, it's just, I don't know where I don't know how you do it, but as soon as I got there with a very drained emotional state of mind, and I got home yesterday, I'm like, I'm ready. Let's do it. Like the whole time with the human connection and like-minded people and the speakers, it's just like you get such a rush. You're like, it's not over. We have a chance. We got the tools. It's amazing. And I did tell my audience that if they couldn't make it for whatever reason, no worries, because they can go back, sign up for your vault, and watch the whole thing. Yeah. It was amazing.
Well, thank you for telling me that. The most important thing was you met Dolly, because you've known a lot of my labs, but you never had a chance to meet Dolly. But you met our new one-year-old studio lab, Dolly, didn't you?
Yes, I did. And we had a very quick, well, I would say she was open to introduction, but I think she's going to need to meet me a couple more times before she comes and sits next to me, but she's adorable.
Thank you. She is one of my, she is the most shy yellow lab I've had. This is number 6. She's very timid, but she finally warms up. Not to dig, dismiss any of the other speakers, but you had to have a favorite or two. And I'm guessing Hadia was one of them Thursday night in her talk, right? You were at the table with us for the banquet concert keynote address. You were at the table with Melissa and I and Bruce Carroll and his wife and my piano player, Donna. And Bruce Carroll, by the way, is the guy that did the acoustical guitar for the concert. I sang, he played the acoustical guitar, and Donna, of course, played the grand piano. And Bruce won 2 Grammys and 7 Dove Awards. Amazing job. And Anni was at the table with us and got to meet Hadia and her husband, Andy. I'm guessing she was probably one of your favorites just because that's one of your obviously big topics, right?
Yes, absolutely. It was, first of all, it was lovely to meet her and her husband in person. And she did a great job both Thursday night and Friday. She was definitely my second favorite. Other attendees can testify to this, Brannon, because of everything that was going on, coordinating at my table. I barely got a chance to come into the actual room during the seminar Friday and Saturday. But I literally dropped, the moment I heard you start, I dropped everything, ran inside and sat there like Brannon's talking. I don't really care what happens out there. I'm sitting here. Your presentation was amazing.
Well, thank you.
And I'm not saying that because I'm on air with you. Like, other people noticed that I actually walked in and didn't come out until you were done. I think it was your Q&A segment that I walked out of the room. Definitely number one, at least on the presentation and the topic. Again, yours was one of those, here are the problems, but there is a solution. And the solution wasn't, not to be disrespectful, but it wasn't the typical, we know the end. It was an actual call to action. You had call to action. And of course, Hedia, and I can't, whenever Andy Woods is there, is going to be my top three.
Well, thank you. And what shocked me too was that Gordon Chang's wife, Lydia, she is a spitfire, number one. But number two, what a great sense of humor she has. And Gordon also, I did not realize what a great sense of humor Gordon Chang had. That maybe you don't pick up when we're doing interviews, but I was not expecting the sense of humor. I mean, he could have been a comedian. He was cracking some pretty good jokes.
He definitely was. He did crack me up a couple of times. I was hearing the other speakers through the
sound
speakers
system.
in the sound system in the area where I was at. And yes, he did make some good jokes. And when he walked out, actually, myself and one other person were like, if all fails, you can definitely make a career becoming a comedian. That was good.
I was not expecting that. All right, we got so much to get to. We're glad you were with us. And here we go. I don't know who this is. I just saw him this weekend. His name is Ashim. I don't know if that's his real name or what, but I agree with what he's saying here. He said, this may ruffle feathers, but it must be said. And I say it with deep respect for President Trump and an unwavering America First perspective. Trump's 2024 victory disrupted Qatar's plans to conquer America. Having acquired leftists years ago, the Al Thani crime family was blindsided by his win. They panicked, fearing Trump would expose Qatar's role in funding and orchestrating October 7th, revive policies like the Muslim ban or outlaw the Muslim Brotherhood, as he proposed in his first term. His public criticism of Qatar's massive funding of global terrorism also caused significant alarm, prompting them to spend hundreds of millions on influencers and American PR firms to sanitize their image. To counter Trump, Qatar devised a strategy to fracture Republicans, knowing failure to do so could set them back decades. They've invested months and vast resources in forging the woke right, effectively dividing the party. Many Republicans are now heavily Qatar funded. Let me say that again, folks. Many Republicans are now heavily Qatar funded, bound by contract to promote Islamist-aligned objectives and avoid criticizing Qatar, its emir, or the Muslim Brotherhood. Israel has been exploited as a divisive issue, a red herring to distract from Qatar's true aim, to own and Islamicize America. This explains why a nation of fewer than 350,000 citizens is among the largest U.S. lobby spenders, outpacing Israel by a landslide and investing billions annually to engineer American society and institutions. Qatar's strategy is succeeding spectacularly. They've bought dozens of influencers and politicians who were easily swayed. Using Israel to divide was brilliant, as many joined the disruption out of animosity toward Jews or Trump, aligning with Islamists without even needing to be bought. Tragically, many Republicans are now compromised, and those who aren't seem completely oblivious. Some, especially those owned by Qatar, will dismiss this as Jewish propaganda. But before doing so, consider, why haven't Republicans acted against the threat of Islam? Not a single meaningful action, just talk. Why hasn't the Muslim Brotherhood been banned? An executive order could address this, yet instead Trump issued an executive order protecting the Qatari Muslim Brotherhood Command Center without a single concession in exchange, allowing Qatar to continue harboring Hamas leadership without consequences. Why are Texas Sharia compounds expanding without any meaningful political resistance? Even in states moving to ban Sharia, enforcement is non-existent as Sharia spreads unchecked. Why do deportations of Islamists take months, stalled by Qatari-funded lawfare, while ICE only minimally focuses on Muslims? Why do billions flow annually into Ivy League schools where Qatar influences professors' selection and curricula? Federal funding is at risk, yet no politician dares mention Qatar's malicious spending. Why is no politician addressing Dearborn, where non-Muslims now face serious oppression, including from its radical Muslim mayor? The list goes on. Until Qatar and its Muslim Brotherhood tentacles in the U.S. are confronted, expect more Dearborns, Madanis, and Sharia compounds, in addition to increasing chaos and institutional collapse. Qatar's insidious spending and infiltration have compromised enough of the GOP to block meaningful action while ensuring Islamic infiltration and jihad can advance unchecked at a rapid pace. It's heartbreaking to hear conservatives still discussing banning the Muslim Brotherhood, mass deportations, or preventing more Dearborns. That window is completely closed unless Republicans openly address Qatar with decisive executive action for President Trump, and there are no signs he's even considering it. Bookmark this post. If you're not convinced, look closer. As grim as it sounds, America faces dark times unless bold executive action confronts Qatar's influence head-on. Don't fall for the Israel distraction. Demand the root cause be addressed, or nothing will change. Qatar paid $16 million to 250 U.S. officials to lobby Trump influencers, says the headline. What do you make of that, Annie? I read that today. I thought, this would be great for our conversation tonight. What do you make of that?
I will 100% disagree with his opening statement.
Mm-hmm.
I 100% agree with his closing statement. And by closing, I mean from where he listed why Republicans haven't done this, why Republicans haven't done that. The reason I disagree 100% with his opening statement.
The one where he said Trump's 2024 victory disrupted Qatar's plans to conquer America?
Yes.
That's the part you disagree with?
Yes. The whole Qatar panicked and all that factual reasons. In 2018, President Trump already became an ally of Qatar.
Because he's building a hotel and golf course there, right?
Exactly. And they bailed out Kushner. And Trump had Qatar Emir at the White House official visit as president. And they had dinner. And right there was the first time that Trump said Qatar is a great ally and we're going to expand. And right there and then he expanded our military deal with them. So I don't see why it would be an interruption. The first time around, he was all about Qatar. So will he be second time? The same thing with Muslim Brotherhood. During his first term, he kept talking about designating Muslim Brotherhood, but he never did. So I think this person, whomever this person is, might have tried to write this in a safe way so he won't get attacked. That's why I said, I write this with all respect to President Trump and being all America first. So that statement is not an honest opinion, or at least with the knowledge I have, I cannot agree with that. But the rest of them, yes. And also the influencers. Qatar didn't start funding Tucker Carlson or Candace Owen or any other influencers November of 2024. Many of them have been on Qatar payroll since 2017, 18, 21, 22. So it's not a new thing. And I think it's dangerous to make it a new thing because, number one, it's gonna create that selective outrage that, so they didn't have to do any of that during Democrats. No, they did. They still had to infiltrate the Republican and conservative talking heads and influencers during the Democrat parts too. It has nothing to do with the administration and everything to do with their next step up plan. They had to start funding conservative talking heads way before October 7th, and that was 2 years ago. Why did they have to start funding them before? Because when October 7th happened, then the conservative Christian talking heads would come screaming, Israel bad, Palestinians were just defending their land. Right?
But you will agree, though, that this has been a great distraction. Israel, the Jews,
Absolutely.
money, the Jews' influence, and silly Netanyahu seems to have played right into it by sitting there telling influencers we need to, control TikTok and all this other stuff. I don't know why he let himself be filmed saying all that, because he just added to the fodder. But reality is this has been a great distraction. When the billions are flooding in here, according to numerous reports of Qatar and the problems with Islam, and yet everything's about the Jews. I mean, I don't know who's been behind this. Russia, China, the CCP. I mean, who has been behind this messaging?
Qatar
The Jews,
and
the Jews,
Iran.
the Jews. Qatar, obviously.
Qatar.
Do you think Russia would
Qatar
be
and
involved in
Iran.
that? You think Russia's involved in that? No.
No.
Do you think the
Qatar
CCP
and
is
Iran.
involved in that messaging?
I don't think so.
So you think it's all Middle East Gulf messaging? The Jews, the Jews, the Jews.
Yes. And again, let's not forget, the Jews didn't start from October 7th either. It started from September 11th. When the method started getting out there, that Mossad was behind September 11th. Remember that?
Yep, I do.
That's when the first seed was planted. And then it gradually grows and grows. And yes, comes
So
to after
one of the
October
things that-
7th because obvious.
One of the things that, I don't know if we have the clip or not, Logan, from Thursday night, from Hadia. Thursday night, Hadia talked about the Gulf money. She laid out how her and her team were trying to warn the Bush administration, George W., about 9/11, that it was going to happen. And she says it's all documented. So she says, it's not like I'm making this up. You can go check it out. It's all documented that there was a group of them warning. And they were called cult members and crazy and conspiracy theorists, and they were pushed aside. Then 9/11 happened, and they're like, hey, you guys come in here, get in my office. And we got to hear about this. And she said that in the government, even now, maybe more now than ever, there was a group of people that were funded by Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states. And those are many Republicans. And there was a battle between those who were not funded by Islamic nations, and those who were. So you're talking about Republicans who were funded or not funded. And based on whether they were being funded or not funded, determine what team they were on. I didn't get any Islam money. I was on America's team exposing Islam. I'm getting funded by Islamists. Those people were on, we can't deal with Islam. They're all good people. There's no such thing, as what people are saying, Islam's peace. She warned then about how much money was in the system before 9/11 to not look at what was really going on. How much money is in the, what do you think of that? And B, how much money is in the system now that's causing people not to see the next event that they say is going to be bigger than 9/11 and be like our own October 7th with multiple terrorist attacks lasting several days and killing a lot of people where there are high concentration of veterans, so that those terrorists who are being trained in Afghanistan and shipped here to America, getting into America, will be able to go after a small town USA where veterans are. So apparently they want them to fear the way they say they were fearing when they were living in Afghanistan, being invaded by these military who are now the veterans. What do you make of all that?
Well, I agree with everything she was saying. And that's the thing. If you remember a while ago, very long time ago on your show, we touched briefly on MEK, Mujahideen Khalq, the Iranian terrorist group that were, of course, thanks to Hillary, they were removed from the terrorist list. But we talked about MEK and the fact that their majority of their support inside the United States of America comes from Republicans. And they actually pick up checks. Literally, they pay these Republicans to show up at their rallies and events and to speak and endorse them. Even as early as the 12 Days War, when there was a possible talk of toppling the regime and change of regime in Iran, there were Republican Congress members who were meeting with MEK members to make sure.
Remind our audience who MEK is, please.
MEK stands for Mujahideen Khalq, which means the jihadists of creation in English. They started back before the 79 revolution. They were the students who supposedly started the uprising in Iran. And then they allowed, or they agreed to let Khamenei take power in promises that Khamenei is going to give them positions in the government. However, the moment he took power, he started hanging them. I mean, executing 500, 400 at a time. Reason, they identified, and to this day do, as Marxist Islamist. You imagine the danger. From there, they moved, they ran and hid behind Saddam Hussein. During the Iran-Iraq War, they literally betrayed Iran and Iranians by working with Saddam Hussein, giving maps to ways into the Iran, helping them conquer as many cities as they did. Then they started becoming a terrorist group inside Iran, killing Iranians, not leaders, not mullahs, innocent Iranians, and then expanded their terrorism into Middle East. They had a couple of terror attacks in other European countries. So European countries started first putting them on their terrorist list. Then we made a deal with them when Iraq was toppled. Saddam Hussein, United States actually gave them safe haven and protection until they abused that too. So we added them to our terror list. The boss, well, the wife of the boss was officially arrested in France, in Paris, and her home was raided. Millions of dollars cash in her closets, gold and silver everywhere found, weapons everywhere found. So they started scattering and hiding when that happened until 2008, when Hillary Clinton convinced Obama that it is time to remove them from terrorist list. They were removed, and immediately they gained huge support from Republicans in America. To this day, they still do. And Republicans' excuse is the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Because they want to topple the mullahs, they're a good option. They disregard, and some of them have bought into the lies of, oh, MEK was just a victim, mullahs lied about their terrorist act, all of that. However, they are a legit terrorist group. They are a Marxist Islamist group. Their own members, those who managed to escape, have testified to the brutal, barbaric lifestyle they have to suffer while going through training to become soldiers of MEK. But again, for every single Democrat support, they have 5 Republicans supporting America.
And where is MEK based?
Well, originally, after Iran, they were based in Iraq. And then after that, they were given Paris. But then when they were listed as terrorists, they scattered. And then when they came out, Washington, D.C., and Paris is now their bases.
Okay. And let me go back to when they started. Were they some of the students that actually took the embassy workers, U.S. embassy workers hostage or not?
There were some of the MEK soldiers involved. Yes, they were. That was the time when IRGC and the MEK younger crowd were collaborating, because there was a promise that they're going to have position in military, in police, in government. So I want to say confirmed 4 of the 107 who stormed the embassy. 4 were MEK.
So
members.
The Marxist, Islamist, or Red-Green Axis goes even to the U.S. Embassy in Iran and Tehran being taken?
Yes.
Okay. How much of MEK, how much of their followers are here in the U.S. now?
You mean followers or members?
Either way.
Like those, because here's the thing, their organization is a little complicated. So they have members who are actively inside, and then they have supporters who are either funding them, lobbying for them, or something like that. And then they have the Iranian supporters, they have the Iraqi supporters, and then they have the Western supporters. But I would say probably a good 60-65% of all those categories of MEK are inside the United States of America.
Are they here as lobbyists, as teachers, as influencers, or are they here as terrorists, or all the above?
All of the above. Well, bottom line, their members are all terrorists. If Republicans would stop pretending like they're a bunch of victims and they would look into the training, everybody, including their supporters who are funding them, writing them checks, donations, are ready to be activated, meaning they have been trained and they have proven to know how to do it. Brannon, with one bomb, just one single bomb, with one woman carrying one bomb into one location, they killed 83 Iranians in one attack. And now, here's where they're the most tricky, by the way, they are the only Islamic group that their leaders is a woman, and also majority of their soldiers commit jihad are women.
Whew. Now, right now, they're opposing the regime because they didn't get the power they were promised.
Yes.
And so that does not mean that they're friends of America. Who do they hate more, America or the current regime in Iran?
The current regime in Iran.
Okay. At what point do they start carrying out terrorist attacks here, once they can't get anything done by money?
Either once the regime is toppled, and Republicans have helped MEK gain power in Iran, or, which I have told many Republicans, good luck, because people of Iran will never, they see MEK members, they will kill them right there on the spot. They killed us. They sold us to Saddam Hussein. They showed location of residential areas on the map for Saddam Hussein to bomb. We'll never accept them. So Republicans are wasting their time and energy. But when MEK comes to realize no Western country can give them their dreamland, then they're going to turn around and start going back to their old ways of bombing and killing and blowing things up.
And how much?
But they will never collaborate with Iran. That much I can tell you.
Okay. How many of them, or what percentage of them, are likely to work with the Marxist? If they're Marxist Islamist, MEK is, then wouldn't they be perfect to work with the Marxist anarchist terrorists as well here in the U.S.?
Oh, they already do.
So they
already do. A lot of their funding comes from Marxist organizations.
Okay. So let's switch to what's supposed to be taking place tomorrow, October 7th, this 2-year anniversary of this solemn day, the murder of 1,200 Jews and all these Jews that were kidnapped. Many of them have died now, and who knows how many are alive. Before we get into the 21-point peace plan and where it's all going, and even when we'll talk about Lebanon, it looks like we have a lot of protest, or actually what they're calling are to honor the martyrs of October 7th. And you're thinking that that's going to be honoring, here it is. Here's one. As an alumna of the University of Toronto, I'm revolted that the school student union plans to honor the martyrs on October 7th, the anniversary of the day terrorists massacred, raped, and kidnapped over 1,000 people in Israel. This hate speech and its glorification of terror. Now, this by martyrs, they don't mean the people that died. I think there's another one going on, and that's in Toronto. Here's one going on, North Carolina, week of action. Gaza is the compass. Tell me what your thoughts on all of this. What are we likely to see tomorrow?
It's interesting you say that, because about probably 4 weeks ago or so, someone sent me a poster of an upcoming rally, they call it. And I immediately thought, wow, on October 7th this year, they will walk all over the blood of innocent people who died that day and until today. And they're going to march our colleges and our city halls and our streets, calling even for more free Palestine. They're going to continue pretending that Hamas and Palestinians and PLO are the victims. And my guess is the police is going to have a stand down order not to escalate the situation. And we're going to have, depending on the city and the state, we might look at what happened after George Floyd. Burning down things and breaking windows. And they're all just going to stand there and watch them.
Well, we've already had stand down orders for the police in Chicago to help ICE agents that were under attack. So it seems to be a trend. I want to get to some of that here in a minute, but I first want to play a quick little video. This is a gal that is, I guess she went, I don't know if she's from Nashville. She went to Nashville, but Nashville has a street named Broadway Street. It's downtown Nashville. I don't know if you've seen this or not. Listen to what this woman said she just saw.
We were on the Strip in Broadway, and there was vehicles going up and down Broadway, and they had flags, Islamic flags, and they were all dressed in the black with the red thing, and they were all yelling in like a different language that we didn't understand, and it was so unnerving. It was so unnerving, and everybody didn't even like bring attention to it. Everybody was just watching, and me and like my whole crew were like, what is going on? But everybody just ignored them. I think everybody was drunk. Okay, I think everybody was drunk, but everybody's just watching these people. They're going up and down, they're honking their horns, they got this flag outside, and it was really weird. Like, I don't know, but we were just talking about it again. I'm like, it was just so unnerving. And like, they keep doing it and nobody's bringing any attention to it. Everybody's just like, whatever. But I'm over here like, how weird is that? They're just going driving around yelling chants and have their Islamic flag.
Yeah. Well, I bet you if we saw the flag and heard what they were saying, you'd know it. I'd know the flag. But isn't this interesting? Here, you and I, for so many years, I've been trying to wake up folks like this. But I'm glad she's awake now. But we've been trying to warn the American people. And of course, if she was and others were up on what was going on and listening to us, they would know what that flag was. They'd be able to identify and say, oh, I recognize that flag. Its color. I recognize the emblems, what it's about. But this is in Nashville. But I'm glad she's awake now, and I thank her for posting that. I'm not criticizing her. I'm just glad she's awake now and posting that. So good for her. I hope she'll do more. But you and I have talked about the fact they're targeting Texas. They're targeting Tennessee. They're coming after some of these southern states. Ironically, while our conference was going on, a couple of hotels here in town were packed out with what looked like to be Pakistani Muslims, packed out this weekend. I don't know if it has anything to do with Yasser Qadi's mosque down the road, because he's originally from Pakistan, but they're clearly targeting Tennessee. Your thoughts on this lady?
Yes, this lady did a great job explaining, but if she comes across this video somehow, next time, grab your phone and film them.
Mm-hmm.
So people like us can tell you who they are, where they're from, what they're chanting. But great job, as you said, great job at least bringing attention to it.
Yes.
I tried to see if anybody posted anything, and nothing. And that's the thing. Brannon, normalization, right? Normalization. She mentioned that nobody minded it. Like everybody was going about their business. Now she said she's guessing they were drunk. My guess is they are definitely drunk in normalization. We have normalized the coexistence and diversity so much, and we have allowed the anti-Semitism and protection of Islam and Muslims going on for so long that most people wouldn't be alert unless that truck turned around like New Year's Eve and started driving into the crowd. That's when they're going to be like, oh, wait, it's one of them. Because we have created this, lone wolf and the radicals versus the good guys and the moderates. So, but again, at least I'm glad she's bringing attention to it. And hopefully somebody somewhere accidentally took a picture, because I am curious. But my guess is this was the pre-celebration. And there's a good chance the flag was probably either Hezbollah or Hamas.
That's what I was thinking, Hezbollah. Yep.
Yeah, it was probably considering October 7th as a weekday. Not that these people care for their job or school or whatever, but they figured weekend would be a good time to start the pre-celebration, because, they celebrate that day. And not just what happened on that day, but what happened afterwards and what just happened, the victory and the trophy, everything that was handed to them. So that's my guess.
The trophy being the 20 or 21 point deal. That's the trophy. So we did this and look at we're getting what we want. Is that you're referring to as the trophy?
Well, yes and no. The exact trophy, which by the way, if you don't mind me plugging myself, it's like tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Those of you who are subscribed will get a notification. If you're not subscribed, you have to go find it. But at 10:30, I will release October 7th, the special. And the trophy, Brannon, trophy is 157 countries. 157, and out of 193 countries have officially recognized the state of Palestine.
Oh, wow.
That is the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
157 out of 193, and 158 is awaiting. Because remember, one of the 20 points is if we get to this agreement, if we make the deal, U.S. will recognize Palestine as a state. Mm-hmm. President Trump, what did he say? Palestine deserves to have a place on this earth. Mm. He said that, right?
Yep. All right, let's switch to Brandon Johnson, back to the red-green axis. We still have a lot to cover tonight, folks. Listen to the mayor of Chicago today. He's at it. Here we go.
I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now, because...
All right, a rematch of the Civil War. Now,
did he just say white people?
The right. I think he said right.
Right. Okay. I was like, whoa.
I said very candidly that the right wing in this...
Yeah, the right wing. They want a rematch of the Civil War. There is, as I said on radio today, we do seem like we've reached another level here. I really wasn't paying a lot of attention to the news Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. because I had a dress rehearsal for the concert on Wednesday night. We had to set up and get things going. And then dress rehearsal Wednesday night. We had concert Thursday night. Then we had the conference starting Friday night and get ready for that and picking up people at the airport. And then the conference all day Saturday. And we had people over to the house to eat afterwards. And so it wasn't until Sunday. So I was pretty much checked out of the news Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I checked back in on Sunday and I'm like, whoa.
I did give you two of the breaking news about the Lebanon and Hamas. But
you did, and we're going to get to that. And I was like, wait a minute, is the news cycle running faster than normal, or is it that I've been out of the loop for 4 days and now I'm getting back into the stream of things and it just seems fast? So when you come out of it and spend 4 days not dealing with it, and then you get back into it, like, whoa, look at how much has happened in 4 days. But the common theme seems to be that the left wants a civil war. And they all thought it was going to be the right. The people on the right would somehow start a civil war because they're the domestic terrorist. But yet, here we have over the weekend the news, of course, of a man for the Democrat Party running for attorney general who is threatening people. Then we can get to Portland and Chicago. But it seems the left wants violence and civil war. Watch this.
We start with breaking news from the campaign trail.
Jay Jones is under fire tonight.
Jay Jones is under fire.
Jay Jones is under fire after messages he sent in 2022 saying former Virginia House Speaker Todd Gilbert should be shot.
I'm excited about this ticket.
It's been great to be out on the campaign trail with Jay Jones.
You said Gilbert's wife could watch her own child die in her arms so that Gilbert might reconsider his political views.
We deserve an attorney general who will stand up for the people of Virginia.
Jones said, quote, Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head.
Let your rage fuel you.
Jones doubled down.
Let me just say, she said, let your rage fuel you. Did you guys see that? I want to go back to what she said. Let your rage fuel you.
Jones doubled down, saying, quote, do I think Todd and Jennifer are evil and that they're breeding little fascists? Yes.
How can Virginians trust a man who said something so horrific, so callously?
Okay, what is he wearing on his hand there, guys? Is this dude an Islamist?
Like a bracelet.
Is he an Islamist? Is that an Islamist bracelet? Is that what is that? Or is it just a bracelet?
It doesn't seem to have anything on it for me to tell. It looks like something. I don't know if he has a young daughter. Maybe the daughter made it. Looks like a homemade.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I shouldn't go there, but
I
don't think it's Islamic.
Well, let's pray not. But here's this guy running for attorney general. And the Democrats, look at this, October 4th, the Virginia Beach Democratic Committee reaffirms its full support of Jay Jones for attorney general. I mean, this is one of many examples since I was off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, come back and Sunday, come back Monday, where it seems like we have a lot of leaders wanting some kind of violence and civil war. Which I think, again, our enemies, be it China or any of the rest of them, would love a civil war and chaos in America before the kinetic of World War III, which apparently Russia's now admitting that we're not in a Cold War. It's actually fiery. It's already gone hot. Well, of course, because we're helping NATO get weapons and target deep inside Russia. But I have to wonder if this isn't a concerted effort by enemies, foreign and domestic, to get the country into something Civil War-wise before a kinetic World War III. Your thoughts?
I would say yes, it's absolutely. And my biggest concern is at some point I was concerned that the right wing will give into it. But now my concern is, are they going to have a false flag event to pretend like the right wing has started it? If you remember, you sent me a picture of the Mormon church in Michigan, the truck of the supposedly driver, the attacker, the flags. And my response was, well, it's time for us to explain to our audiences that there is a difference between patriotism than waving flags. And I feel like we're there because they might very well start setting it up. So making it look as a setup of right-wing or MAGA members did something to start the Civil War.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely want it. No, let me rephrase. They need it. They need it. Red Green right now needs a civil war. And if they have to fake the start of it, they will do so, no problem.
Well, and that brings us to who's helping this. I said enemies foreign and domestic, because apparently there are mostly foreigners that are following the ICE agents around Chicago. Most of them are foreigners. Watch, and of course, this is what's going on. Here we go. Now, when the guys got into some trouble this weekend, apparently they called for help from 911 and they didn't get it. And by the way, the guy running for attorney general in Virginia has apparently put out some kind of soft apology, but I'm not buying it. But anyway, back to this. There is evidence now, regardless of what they want to spin and say in Chicago, there apparently is absolute evidence that the police were called and that they weren't getting help. Here's where things really got out of hand this weekend in Chicago. All right. So apparently we also have all the documentation that's been presented out there on social media that indeed they did call for help and they weren't getting the help they needed, which of course could have been a major life and death issue situation. We even have the Fraternal Order of Police, National Fraternal Order of Police, and Illinois State Fraternal Order of Police condemned the reports that Chicago police officers were barred from assisting ICE agents. We also obviously have this kind of garbage going on in Portland. It seems clearly that the Civil War already has started, but that's what Daniel Greenfield said in my documentary that came out in December of 2019. So what is that now? Almost 7 years ago? So we said the Civil War had already started. And Daniel said, people said, but I don't see shooting. He said, shooting is how a civil war ends. Okay, a civil war is when the progressive, the left, the Marxist, do not want to obey the rules of law under our constitutional republic or honor the results of elections. And now here we are again, so many years later, and the shooting has actually more than started. Your comments on the fact that many of these seem to be foreign actors. And by the way, we now are getting reports to add to that. It just popped in my mind that many of these truck drivers in America now are getting trained by the CCP to drive trucks in America. What could possibly go wrong, Annie?
Interesting. Wait, why?
Yeah, well, maybe because they could then carry out terrorist attacks with trucks, get enough of them that are driving the trucks and shut them down to disrupt the just-in-time inventory. I mean, I guess I can think of a lot of reasons, right?
Oh, no, the why I said was a half sentence. I should have said, why would our government allow these drivers who are trained by CCP to become drivers?
Yep. Why?
That was the question. But I agree with Daniel. Of course, I believe the Civil War actually started it during Obama, when he stood there and called our officers stupid, and said if he would have a son, it would be what, Martin was the guy's name?
George Floyd?
No. This was Obama. Something Martin was the guy's name.
Trayvon Martin. Was it Trayvon?
Thank you. Yes, I think that moment Obama started the Civil War. That was the moment it started, and then escalated into the, George Floyd spring of love, and then from there on and to today. And as far as the foreigners, as you have said, and many other experts, the benefit of a civil war isn't even for Democrats. Democrats won't even profit from it either, or benefit from it. It's China, Russia, and the Islamic movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's when.
And the globalists who are using the Marxists and the Islamists as their junkyard dogs to destroy the West. Then they can come in with their digital IDs and 15-minute cities, freedom cities, and tell you, are you tired of the chaos? Are you tired of the violence? Are you tired of the death and mayhem? We have a solution.
Here's your utopia.
Here we have a solution. Get a digital ID, and we can shut this stuff down.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly where it's going.
And they'll line up for it, Annie.
Oh, of course they will. Again, COVID was the test run. And we failed that test pretty badly. You might know 5 people who stood up to it, but majority of people obeyed to keep their job, to keep their house, to keep their family members, to keep their friends, whatever their reasoning was, but they obeyed pretty quickly. There wasn't much force on people. Majority of people volunteered to go through the lockdown and work from home and quarantine, and then the vaccine.
And so, now we have the cartels set $10,000 bounties on U.S. immigration officials.
Yeah.
We're hearing that Tom Homan, the border czar, is having to live away from his family due to the threats being so great.
Who do you think is paying the money, though?
Yes.
Who's paying the bounty?
You think it's the Middle East?
I think it's Hezbollah and IRGC. Well, technically IRGC, who funds Hezbollah, who makes deals with cartel.
Mm-hmm. And then Tom Homan, of course, asked a great question about some of this related to where we're at now. This standing army that's now in the country. Listen to what he said, the question he asked. It all fits in.
Releasing so many people. You know why the Biden administration released millions of people in the United States? No one ever talks about it. I'll talk about it. Why did they release people into the interior of the United States and put them, rather than put them into an ice bed? Why not put them in an empty ice bed at $127 a night rather than in a hotel room at $500 a night? They did it on purpose, because when you put them in ice detention bed, they get a hearing in 35 days. Court records show 9 out of 10 people claim asylum, get order removal, they're gone. But if you release them and put them in a hotel room at $500 a night, their hearings could be 5, 7, 9 years if you pull out all appeals. And what are they hoping for then? That another Democrat administration is in power. They can warrant amnesty to millions. This is about selling this country off for future political power. That's what it was. The law clearly says if you arrive at our border without proper documentation, you shall be detained. Not maybe, not think about it, shall. And that's what President Trump's doing.
Now, I would add to it, it's not just the voters, but Annie, it's the fact that you now have those people free in the country as the soldiers of standing armies of foreign enemies.
Yes, or even gang members who will gladly remember. I reported it a long time ago, but the source of all good news, Fox, just confirmed that IRGC is using a lot of gang members in Europe and America to do the job for them. And a lot of them come in, especially the, Hispanic gang members, they do come illegally in. Mm-hmm. They get into these hotels, and as I think he said, or you said it, another thing is you're not in a detention center, meaning you step out and do what you need to do and come back to your room.
Now, we know that the powers that be, enemies, foreign and domestic, are agitating for a civil war. because the narrative was being set with January 6th. And listen to what the FBI Director Kash Patel has to say, describing how the FBI was used and the powers that be to set this narrative for who is the great threat, not the Islamist, it's patriots. Listen to this.
Some Republicans, Mr. Director, argue that Nancy Pelosi staged January 6th and the Select Committee covered it up. Based on what you personally know, what are the verifiable events in the lead-ups? And do you, I know you don't speculate, you just deal with facts.
I'm in a unique position. Remember, I was Chief of Staff for the Department of Defense on January 6th. We were responsible for the deployment of the National Guard. And what I was forced to testify to years ago at great personal cost has now once again, just like Russiagate, been proven true, because all I do is speak the truth. On January, actually in the days before January 6th, we were in the Oval Office where the President Trump at the time, authorized, pursuant to law, up to 10 to 20,000 National Guard. We took that authorization because the law's second part required a request from who? Nancy Pelosi and the Metropolitan Police and the mayor at the time. And what did they say? No. And remember what happened for the next 2 years? They say, oh, Kash is lying, Trump's lying. And what did we find? Letters of their declination of the National Guard, refusing to have the National Guard show up. So all I can speak to is the facts, and the facts are those plus this. Nancy Pelosi and her team were busy filming a movie on January 6th while this so-called chaos around her was going down. If she had, just look at it this way, if she had said yes to the National Guard and we had 10,000 uniformed military officers establish a secure perimeter, do you think January 6th would have gone differently?
It is intriguing that 250 FBI plainclothes agents were inside the Capitol on January 6th. I saw the president's tweet to get to the bottom of it. Who placed them there? What were they doing? Were they inciting violence? What can you tell us, Mr. Director?
This is a great example of the president's initiative to solve all the answers on January 6th. And it's another example of our transparency efforts. Pursuant to the president, we investigated the matter and found out why FBI agents were placed there in the first place. And it turns out we found documentation and witnesses and whistleblowers that said we were forced to go there to do riot control. Armstrong, do you know what the FBI does not do ever? Riot control. We don't do that. So the prior leadership sent 250 some odd men and women into a situation they're not trained for, put them in harm's way, put the individuals out there in harm's way. And also, those individuals have collectively responded or said beforehand that they were forced to go there. They didn't volunteer to do that.
And you believe them?
That's their word, not mine.
Well, that shows you, Annie, that, again, enemies foreign and domestic, setting up conflict, narrative, propaganda, which again leads me to the fact that I think we're in big trouble because now it seems as though a lot of this is coming to a head. At some point, it's going to have to pop, is it not?
Yes, and if you don't mind me just putting an insert here. This is my opinion, not Brannon's. The former leadership Kash Patel just referred to was still a Trump administration leadership of FBI. I just want to put this out there. It's evidence. It's great. We know what happened. But everybody out there who's constantly putting your trust in Trump knows what he's doing. He knows who he's dealing with. He knows how to do the deal. Just keep in mind what Kash Patel just said was of President Trump's pick and choice. Because on January 6th, President Trump was still the president. Therefore, whomever was in charge of FBI was picked and approved by him. So just be aware that a lot of other picks, a lot of new people, old people, whomever is in administration, might just very well be playing for the other side as well.
All right, let's switch to your brand new article. $230 million gift to Hezbollah wrapped in the American flag. Tell me about Lebanon. This is like one of the most underreported stories around, is it not, Annie?
Of course, that's why I had to report. My job is like, okay, who's talking about what? Okay, that is not what I'm going to be talking about. Yes. Okay. So as we were actually enjoying your very greatly put together event over the weekend, on Thursday, it was announced. On Friday, it was confirmed that Trump administration is now sending, as I speak to you right now, it might have been already sent, $230 million aid to Lebanon. And the exact explanation was to disarm Hezbollah. So sending $230 million to Lebanon government to disarm Hezbollah. That sounds really good. But the problem is, there's way more detail in the Substack, of course, but to make it brief, a few problems. Number one, since 2006 until today, that's close to 20 years, 19 years, United States of America, under technically 4 different administration, have wasted something over $7 billion on disarming Hezbollah through funding the government of Lebanon. Either cash, like this time, it's an aid. It's actually going to be money. It's not military equipment or training or weapons. It's actual money. Or they have done some of that, about, I think, 2.3 billion of it was just equipment and weapons and military equipment and all of that. Point is, Lebanon government is Hezbollah. So when Trump administration comes out with we're funding or we're sending aid to Lebanon government to disarm Hezbollah, what are they saying? What they're saying is either we're not qualified for the job, fire us and replace us, or they're saying we're pretty much sending more aid to fund Hezbollah so they can continue creating the chaos and keeping the Israel war going so we can keep cashing in. In plain terms. There is no disarming Hezbollah through Lebanon government.
The structure motorized.
Yeah. All right.
But we're doing it. And I think one thing I did say on Friday to you, I said 230 or someone else, it was $230 million could have built plenty of decent sized apartment units for our veterans. $230 million could have been plenty investment to find missing kids in America who are being exploited. I am tired of our tax dollar being sent to jihadists on their diplomacy and promises, and we're going to disarm this and we're going to disarm Hamas. And when? Never. The only way to disarm Islamist jihadists is to cut ties and let them drown. That's the only way.
Let's talk about a new film. Are you aware of a new film that's coming out? I don't know if it's in theaters yet, but I guess it's coming out. With Leonardo DiCaprio. It's called One Battle After Another. And apparently, I'll play the trailer. Apparently, it's about liberating illegal immigrants.
Come on.
Yeah, here we go. Watch this.
Rise and shine.
Bat an eyelash.
Good morning.
There are no hands on the clock.
Why?
Because they're not needed.
What time is it?
I don't remember that part. All right, let's just not nitpick over the passwords. This is Bob Ferguson. I was a part of the French 75.
Bitch, I felt like Tony Montana!
Steve Lockjaw just attacked my home. And I cannot remember, for the life of my only child, the answer to your question.
Maybe you should have studied the rebellion text a little harder.
I need to find my daughter.
Well, then call us back when you have the time.
You just...
You know, you are so unsuitable for my daughter.
My child comes from a whole line of revolutionaries. And you look so lost. What are you gonna do about this baby?
You know what freedom is? What? No fear. Go.
Not one thing, it's another. Find that to be true.
I need you, brother. Sensei, please.
Courage, Bob. Courage.
That's it?
Courage.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Hey, thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. Viva la revolución!
Okay, so are we to believe there is a film coming out that is going to glorify revolution?
That is what I just got from it. Yes. I mean, I will absolutely agree with one dialogue there. You know what is freedom? No fear. We should take note of that. But yeah, it seemed like, well, we don't know the ending, so we can't necessarily say it's glorifying it. Because if the ending goes with they all fail and they get arrested or they get killed, then it's not glorifying it. It's putting fear in people's heart. But it seems like that. It seems like it was more of a, I don't know, rebels and, I don't know. Some people are trying to take something back. I'm sorry, that trailer was very confusing. I'm just
well, look at this. The plot. Here's the plot. Ghetto Pat Collin and whoever, Beverly Hills, are members of the far-left revolutionary group, the French 75, breaking out detained immigrants from a detention center in California.
Huh. Okay.
So isn't this all very interesting? 16 years later, living in the sanctuary city, Bacton Cross, Bob has become a paranoid drug addict, blah, 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 blah. Under the guise of immigration, Drug Enforcement Operation Lockjaw dispatches his troops to Bacton Cross to find Bob and Willa. So, I mean, isn't this interesting? And this is coming out at this time. Remember we had the movie about the Civil War in America by the Obamas?
Yes.
Leave the World Behind. Wasn't that what it was called? And now we've got this one.
World Behind.
We've got this one coming out. Tell me that the cultural Marxists, when they came here to America, said they're going to use education and media. This reminds me kind of the Weather Underground of the 60s, right? Their bombings.
Uh-huh.
So are we now going to get people to see these people as somehow freedom fighters and revolutionaries that are good guys? This again, you have to wonder, who is funding this? That's a question I'm asking. That's one of many questions. All right, let's see. Anything else you want to discuss before we let you go?
Yes, just a quick note on, as we're hours away from October 7th, I just want to do a quick note. There has not, I repeat, there has not been an agreement from Hamas when it comes to the 20-point plan. They have agreed to 1 point under conditions. Okay, 1 point under conditions. They have said they will release all hostages, dead or alive, under conditions that will be set by Hamas. Those conditions have not been mentioned yet. Hostages have not been released yet. And when they do release the hostages, in return, they are going to receive about 1,200, not 200, 12, that's 1,200 Palestinian jihadists in Israeli prison. So, they started the negotiations in Egypt today. Yes, and it's an indirect. By the way, I saw a few conservatives getting it very wrong. Hamas and Israel aren't sitting at the table negotiating. That's why they're in Egypt. It is indirect negotiations like with Iran. Hamas is talking to Egypt. Egypt is coming out of the room telling Israel. Israel is passing it to the bosses and all of that. So please stop celebrating. Please stop nominating people for a peace prize, because nothing has happened. There was no deal. There is no deal. 2 years people have suffered underground of Hamas gulag. And it is a shame to see people are using this made up information to big up their guy. That's all.
That's all. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. And by the way, you brought your art this weekend. You sell a good number of your art pieces?
Absolutely. I was very grateful for the support, and I was very shocked that there was a very good welcome toward my Christmas decorations and ornaments, and that was a good motivation. I probably will make some more for the store, so those who didn't make it can purchase them as well.
Excellent. LUTF Studio, lutfstudio.com. Annie, as always, thanks for being with us. She's on each and every day right here at 3 p.m. Central, 4 Eastern Standard at worldviewtube.com. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Brannon. Be safe.
And folks, look at all we brought to you right then, right? Without any commercial breaks. If you appreciate all we're doing, all we're pushing out, worldviewfoundation.com, worldviewfoundation.com. If you'd like to see the keynote presentations from this weekend, you can join the vault, worldviewtube.com/vault. They're in there, worldviewtube.com/vault. If they're not all in there, they will be within the next 24 hours or so. Logan and I and team are getting them up there. A lot of them are up there already, I'm told. worldviewtube.com/vault. So again, if you appreciate all we're doing, we need your support. Worldviewfoundation.com. Let's show them, Logan. Show them some of the, you want to show them how to do it? You hit the little person icon at the top right. Yep. Log in. And then you log in. That's if you have an account, though, right? Okay, so you're going to have to set up an account at worldviewtube.com/vault. But if you have a membership, you just go to the top, log in, brings you back to the homepage, go to TV, go to TV series, and there it is, boom. There you go. And more to come. All right? And more to come. So get your membership now, folks. worldviewtube.com/vault. We'll be right back after this. We have a big announcement, folks, something we've been waiting on for several months, and it's now here. It's called Bella Melt. You were on it for just 1 week when you lost 3 pounds. So in the first week, you lost 3 pounds on this, right?
That is correct.
Your GLP-1 is a natural hormone that's in every single one of our bodies. And your GLP-1 lets you know if you're full. It's a satiety hormone. So when your GLP is working properly, it does help suppress your appetite as well as reduce those cravings. It's a sugar-free fast melt caramel. So what it's going to do best is it's going to reduce your sugar cravings or any other cravings you have in your body. It's going to suppress that appetite. But where Melissa got the most benefit, I think, over the last week was the L-carnitine. The L-carnitine tells your mitochondria, this is where you make, we talked about it before, this is where you produce energy in your cells. It actually tells those mitochondria to burn fat for fuel. We're noticing other people losing up to 7 pounds in the first week. 4 pounds has been about the average. As you lose weight and as you take these Bella Melts, it's going to help lower that blood sugar in your body as well.
All the information is there. MelissaHouseBG.com, MelissaHouseBG.com. Just now introducing for the first time Bella Melt with GLP-1 Fast Action. Joining me now is Michael Weiner. He was with us for our National Worldview Weekend this weekend, visited with many of our attendees. Someone asked me today, did gold hit a record high today? Well, I said yes, but it's hit many record highs. We just keep hitting them one after another. So yes, today is a record high, but that's, again, becoming common. They said, what about silver? I said, well, silver is headed toward $49 an ounce. It needs to get to 50 to hit the highest it's ever been. And it looks like we're about to do that. So gold is at the highest price it's ever been. Silver is about to hit its historic record high and then blow right through it. Again, let's see what Michael Weiner thinks about these latest developments, because things are moving faster than even he predicted. Michael, welcome back to the broadcast.
Good evening, Brannon. Well, as I mentioned in August, I said September is going to be a huge month. With the year end coming on the federal government, things are going to get crazy. Well, they did, because not only did they not get crazy, but they also shut down the government, which was totally irresponsible. And that, coupled with the fact of we're coming into a new currency, and also realizing the fact that in November, we're going to have to do this all over again with this CR. So whatever they're going to do, they're going to try to do one, I guess, for a year if they can get anything done, because it seems to be these people are financially irresponsible, which they are. They've always been. And then on top of all of this, we've got the main issue, which is the change of our financial system. What really is bothering me is, yes, gold is at an all-time high, and it will continue to be at an all-time high for the next 2.5 years till Trump, or 3 years, till Trump finally retires or is retired, because of the fact of his second term coming to an end. But gold is a financial instrument. The financial system of the world is changing. This is what's been the strength of the gold market. Now it's coupled with uncertainty. And also something that we also have coming up on the table is a correction of the stock market and financial markets. And don't expect your financial guys to warn you. I'm not looking at a crash. I'm looking at a correction. Correction, in my opinion, somewhere around 20-25%. Crash is like 50%. The reality where it really is bothersome, Brannon, is people are saying, well, gold is too high. Well, I said this before. People told me gold was too high when it was $100. You're going to sit back and tell me this now, and then you're going to pay me $5,000 next year because you're going to need it. Right now, you can act properly and protect yourself. Failing to pay attention to this changing economic climate is nothing more than possible financial suicide. Literally, this is a changing world, and it's happening quickly. And if you do not take action and act versus react, you're going to suffer the consequences of a devaluation and revaluation of our economy and your financial position.
So what were some of the common questions you were getting from listeners this weekend?
Well, a lot of people, that's a good question. A lot of people were concerned on their IRAs and wanted to know what they could do. And I reminded them of the fact of what's called low-hanging fruit. The government, in comparison, we talk about privacy all the time. The one thing that the government knows exactly where it is your retirement plan. And they can grab it, they can change it, they can nationalize it, all in the pretext of helping you. And do not think it won't happen, because they've tried already twice, and that's in the last 10 or 12 years. Democrats get power again, they'll do it. That's why Reagan created precious metals IRAs as a position of financial security, to own something that gives you a buffer. We can help you with it. This is not a product that just was created yesterday. It's been around almost 40 years. And it's thank you, Ronald Reagan, for doing it. But that's a big issue. Pay attention to your retirement plans. If you have a 401k and you're still working and you're over 59 and a half, you too have the capacity to do something about it. And the second thing we talked about a lot was, is the market too high? And compared to what? We have a whole new financial system. Gold is doing nothing that it's more than it's supposed to do, reacting to that and also being used as a financial instrument. So, that in and of itself is wrong. Silver right now is, once it tests its $50 level, which is coming up soon, then I would expect that we'd see a big jump to 60. I'm looking at $80 to $90 silver year end. So there's activity there.
Year in, you think silver could be at $90, $100 an ounce before the year is over?
Let me rephrase. I'm talking about the end of next year. I'm looking at silver this year between $60 to $70.
Still
I
high.
think what will happen, yes, when it hits 55, they'll push it. The people love to push markets to new highs. They love it. And with silver, they'll get gangbusters behind it, like they did when Robin Hood and those guys were involved. So I think it'll be very active. I think the gold market, when it hits 4,000, it'll run up to 4,200 because they want to. That's why I said 4,200 this year, a year ago, well, at the beginning of the year. And right now, I stand by that. Could be 4,200 by December 1st. These are interesting and difficult times. And when the people asked us these questions, then we also had people that come up to us and say, my financial person doesn't recommend this. Well, then what are we talking for? I mean, I'm not here to tell you, nor as Wes or as Chris told you, to empty out everything you had and put all your money in gold. We've told you to do things proportionately. We've told you that we're not the people here to make you money. We're the people to make sure that you preserve what you have and you ensure all parts of your life. You better pay attention to what's going on right now. Otherwise, it'll be either too late or you'll pay a lot more and get a lot less. I'm done.
There you go. All right. So when do you think there'll be a correction? You think there will be a 20% correction?
I think the correction's already started. It's just that when the corrections happen, your financial people just sort of slough it off because they don't want any activity.
How can you say correction in gold and silver's happened? It's not gone down.
There's not. I'm talking about the financial
stock
markets.
Okay. But do you think there's going to be a correction in gold and silver?
Any correction is going to be weekly. It might take a dip, 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 bucks, and then go back up because it's a very healthy marketplace.
So in other words, don't sit around and wait for a dip to buy.
No, that's dangerous. And this type of, usually if you look at the major dips, let's look at the last major dip. That was in 2011, November. Why did that happen? Because the economy and everything started coming out of the 2008 and 9 crash. The banks started coming back out. Everything started coming back together. Even though it was slow with Obama, it did start coming back. And when that happened, gold went down about 32% total, but silver went down 80%. So that's a huge correction. But what's on the forefront right now that would do that to the gold market and or silver? Nothing. There's anything but clear sailing. But more importantly, we're heading into other areas, which include changeover to a digital world. We even said at the event, one of your spokespersons was talking about the fact of, and he played a video of the European Union's talking about it in October. I think it'll be formalized in November, their digital money. Japan digital, China digital, and all the BRICS going along with it, the SWIFT system digital, the IMF digital. We're going digital. And if you don't think that's not going to have an effect on the financial system, you're wrong. And if you think it's going to have a negative effect on gold, look what's been happening since all these announcements have been going on since the beginning of July. Look what's going on in front of us. And we don't even have that right now. What's really making things sort of crazy is this problem with the I call it the communist socialists, not Democrats, who are literally not paying attention to what they were elected for. They weren't elected to create a mess. And they weren't elected to tell us that there's problems in healthcare. The only problem I see is them wanting to pay money to the wrong place. Why can't they just allow the government to stay open and work it out? Why do we as citizens have to suffer because people in Washington can't get together and make a decision? And I'm not blaming the Republicans because this same CR was passed multiple times by Biden's people. So why don't they like it now? It's crazy. This will have an effect, and I don't see any improvement. They're having a vote tonight. I don't believe anything will happen differently because they're the base of the socialist Democrats, which are communists for you people who don't know, don't care. They like this. Yep. And the youngsters out there that aren't making money, the millennials or the Gen Zs who don't have any money, think the best solution is to take our money. Well, good luck with that, kids. That's not going to last too long. Have fun with it.
All right, tell me what some folks were saying to you that maybe bought gold or silver a long time ago. What were some of them saying to you this weekend about it? Anything?
A lot of hugs. A lot of people saying you were right. I should have done more back then and doing more. A lot of people thankful really, a lot of people really thankful that they're in a position of protection, just like with your freeze-dried foods and the cellular and the water and all the things that we try to do to get people prepared. They feel so special because they're prepared. They've done something. And that's what Wes and I, when we talk to people all the time, we try to get them prepared. It's not about selling you, it's about getting prepared. And some people just don't want to pay attention. I've got, and the people who have gotten prepared are very thankful.
I bet they
feel like it's something that people weren't just concerned about selling them or controlling them. It was about literally helping them. And what's another issue that came up is people buying the wrong thing. If you're all about making money, go buy ETFs and go bet on the price. But if you're going to sit back and buy gold, please do not have strangers store your gold for you. Like my grandpa used to say, don't have a stranger hold your wallet. For goodness sakes, you don't go to the bank, take money, put it in your wallet, and then, by the way, turn around and hand it to some guy out in front to hold it for you. This is ridiculous. In my 45 years in this industry, almost 46 years, every single time I've seen people taken advantage of is when they had things stored for them. Hello, Larry Bates. You know who he is.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, $30, $40 million. They find empty vaults and all this. Take delivery of your matter. If you don't want to do business with us, good luck. All the best. I mean, we don't force you, but do not do business where people hold your metals for you. That is terrible. Or the people who sit back and hold metal outside the United States. A best example, you cannot ship gold and silver back into the United States. You cannot take it back in. And once you send it out and you want to sell it, it's going to be converted into the dollars of where you hold it. It's ridiculous. And some of these companies who play these games without properly educating people are hurting people, and they didn't know it. And then, it's sort of like what went on with somebody, and I won't mention his name, who sold the Perth Mint. Perth Mint was in Australia. I had a Worldview lady call me up years ago who put in $3 million and needed money, and found out that not only she could not sell it, but she couldn't get the money anyways. It was in Australia. It was a disaster, literally a disaster. When you buy gold, we are a very black and white company. You send us money, we ship you gold. If you want an IRA, we keep it in the United States. We don't tell you to do business elsewhere. It is not good. And we've had a lot of people who came up to us with problems, and we're thankful. And we had a lot of people, Brandon, that you referred to us who were at the event that we straightened out that were in problems. And that's something we do, and that we don't charge for it. We just help you. That's all.
That's all. And you got to meet Dolly, did you not?
No, she's depressed right now.
You didn't get to meet Dolly.
She's at a dog psychologist right now.
Did you not come to my house?
No, I didn't. We had to leave. Logan told me she was going to come to visit.
Well, for some reason, I thought you came to my house for lunch on Saturday.
She's depressed. It'll be rough for a few days. So
I thought for some reason I saw you sitting at my house having lunch on Saturday, but you didn't.
I wish I was.
Oh, I thought you had. The house was so full of people for lunch on Saturday that I thought I could have swore that I walked by the breakfast room and saw you sitting in there eating lunch, but you weren't. Huh?
Nope, I wasn't. I wish I was.
All right. Well, we'll have to get you back around. I thought for sure you met Dolly.
I will. We will.
All right. Folks need to get a hold of you now more than ever.
Definitely.
Worldviewgold.com, worldviewgold.com, or 602-558-8585, 602-558-8585. Well, let me ask you this. What did you think of Collierville, where we live?
I thought Collierville was beautiful.
Yeah.
I really was impressed with the whole city. We were looking at just beautiful.
Did you drive around a little bit?
Yeah, we did. The parks. I mean, Melissa told us the parks, beautiful parks, all green. It was just really, really a special place to live. And the police officers were really nice. All the people there, everybody was really friendly.
Yeah, our police department did a great job, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They did. I mean, it was a wonderful affair, and it's great to be surrounded with people who are like-minded and with good Christian values. It was really, really special.
Yeah, and next year, we've already picked the date for next year. Did you know that?
Yes, you did. I don't know the date, but you said somewhere in Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're going to go to Milwaukee, outside of Milwaukee, in Waukesha, which is a very conservative area where we've been many times since the 90s. The Waukesha Expo Center. I'll give you the date here. And you should put it on your calendar. The Waukesha Expo Center. And the date we have right now is October 23 and 24. That's a Friday night and Saturday. October 23 and 24 of 2026. What do you think gold will be at then?
4,800. You know, we sat back here in
So a year from now, you think it'll almost be 5,000?
Close to. I could tell you now, when we sat back January 3rd and I was on the show and it was like 2,500 and I said 4,000 year end and 3,000 by March. And you were saying 3,000 by March. And yep, what happened? So I was right last year. I'm right now. It's just common sense. It doesn't take a lot of brilliance. But I can say to people, let us help you now. I'd rather help you now than help you later when it's worse. This is a period of time to really
get it. How long is it taking to get silver? How long are people having to wait to get silver?
Not with us. We have plenty.
Okay, but I'm hearing some places are 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, that's the reason why, and I've educated some people to this, is this industry, when it changed, meant that companies don't have to carry inventory. So they sell everything through secondary sources. You send them money and they buy it from a wholesaler and have it drop shipped to you. We don't do that. Everything at Swiss America is shipped directly out of our facility under camera. We weigh it, we examine it, we inspect it, and we've got plenty of metals, hundreds of millions of dollars of gold and silver available because we are the oldest and largest in the business. You've been to our facility, Brandon. You see what it is. These other people are operating in executive suites. We got a building as big as a post office that we have. It's with a lot of guns, but at the end, which is wonderful. But at the end of the day, we always tell people to come on in, but if they want to be smart, they might not be leaving. But at the end of the day, we have all the capabilities of selling you whatever you need. And if you pay us, we ship out as fast as we can in the industry. As soon as your funds clear, we ship. Unfortunately, some people complain we use the U.S. Post Office. But again, I can say it on the air. The reason we do is for those people who have bought from other companies. And goodness, if you lose your metals to UPS or FedEx, it's an insurance claim. You can be waiting for months. When we do it and anything happens through the United States Post Office, we replace it immediately because it's a felony. That's as simple as it is. Our insurance company immediately pays us.
Wow. Amazing. Well, I learn something new every day.
There you go.
Worldviewgold.com, worldviewgold.com, or text Wes your address and that you want the free packet, 602-558-8585, 602-558-8585. Hey, I meant to ask you, you were at the banquet concert and keynote address Thursday night. Wasn't that piano player and my classical acoustical guitar player amazing?
Oh, they were phenomenal. It was such a really wonderful, loving event that night. It was very special for anybody that was there.
Yeah,
very special.
And you were definitely there. So thank you, Michael.
I was there at many of them, but this one was more cozy because we've been at some of them that were huge, and it's not as cozy as it was very personal. Yep. It was very special.
Good, glad to hear it. Michael Weiner checking in tonight. Thank you, Michael.
Good night.
All right, guys, that's our broadcast tonight. We appreciate, as always, you're watching. I've already booked up Mark Mitchell for tomorrow night, Trevor Loudon, many more coming. Nick Holscher is going to join us. So I already got a full schedule already for tomorrow night. I think we'll check in with Aaron out of Israel tomorrow during radio, 1 o'clock Central, 2 Eastern Standard. Roll the music. Let's call it a night. Be sure to get your free pack of business cards. A lot of folks walked out of the theater this weekend with multiple packs to go home and pass them out and give them to their family and friends. So there you go, worldviewstore.com. You know, I tried resting a little bit yesterday, Sunday after the conference. So I said, let's play some gin. Wasn't very relaxing. My wife beat me 2 games in a row, gin. I don't know, should I play some gin tonight with your mom? I don't know. It's not very relaxing anymore. Oh, and look who showed up right at the end. The theme music's already played. We really should be off the air and hear you. What was it? Because you heard me fanning the business cards? And by the way, you got to meet Gordon Chang and all kinds of people this weekend, didn't you? Yeah, they came over for lunch and then dinner. I wanted to bring her to the theater to meet you guys, but she does not like the car, and she's very timid. She's my most timid lab I've ever had. So anyway, well, I'm glad you decided to stop in and say hello to everybody. The music's already played. It's already gone away. So I think it's time for us to go away as well. You are such a little brat. You know that? Give me those back. You're such a little brat. But everyone's glad you showed up, okay? Everybody's glad you showed up. All right, so anyway, we're over. We got to go. So you don't think I should play gin with your mom tonight? Because it's not very relaxing when she beats me. We played at 300, and she just beats me. The other night, I made 85 points. 85 points, and she got to 300. It's kind of humiliating. It's not very relaxing. It's supposed to be a relaxing game, but it's not relaxing when you just get beat one hand after another. So I don't know. I got to find something a little more relaxing. But anyway, that sounds like personal problems to me, doesn't it to you? All right, so I don't know. Maybe I'll go play gin. Maybe I'll just have a cup of hot tea and listen to some classical music. But however you choose to unwind, I appreciate your being with us tonight. So next time, I'm Brannon Howse. May God save America. Take care.